No one decides to ruin their life. No one wakes up thinking, today I'm going to sabotage my marriage, my health, my career, my finances. And yet it happens. Constantly. Not in one moment of madness, but through 1,000 small decisions that seem meaningless in the moment. The economist Alfred Kahn called it the tyranny of small decisions. I realized that the important things in my life never really collapsed in one specific moment. Relationships, fitness, projects, finances. Whenever something went wrong, there was never one single exact day where I made the wrong choice. It was a very long sequence of small choices that seemed unimportant. And at some point, I found myself in a place I had never consciously chosen. Today we will see the tyranny of small decisions, the concept, how it works in real life, the other side of it, how it can work in your favor, and how I apply it myself. The tyranny of small decisions is a simple idea. Every single choice taken on its own seems insignificant. It doesn't seem to make any difference. But over time, these choices create a direction, and often it's a direction you would never consciously chosen. Kahn was talking about economics, of course, it was his field. He studied how individual consumer choices can destroy entire local industries or even communities without anyone actually wanting that outcome. A classic example that we can apply nowadays is about the coffee. You say, I get coffee from Starbucks, just this once. It's fast, it's convenient, it's just me. But everyone that you know makes the same calculation, the same decision, and then you act surprised when the local coffee shop closes down. No one, of course, wanted that result, and yet we built it together, one small decision at a time. But the principle is universal. It doesn't just apply to economics, it applies to everything. Relationships, health, career, finances. It applies to time, to everything. How it works in real life. So let's talk about relationships, for example. You don't reply to your partner's message because you're tired, nothing happens. You stay at work 1 extra hour instead of going home, nothing happens. It's normal. You look at your phone while the other person is talking, nothing happens. You postpone that important conversation because, it's not the right moment, nothing happens. But a relationship almost never ends because of cheating or one explosive fight. It ends through 1,000 small acts of distraction, absence, and we'll talk about it later. And one day you wake up and realize you lost each other. There was no exact moment, just a slow erosion that neither of you consciously chose. Even at work and projects works in the same way. You postpone that important task because today you're not in the right mood and nothing happens. You check the emails instead of doing the important work, nothing happens. You say yes to something you don't care about because you don't want to disappoint someone, nothing happens. You wait for the right moment to start the project and nothing happens. And after a year you ask yourself, why am I not where I wanted to be? Why did I do everything except the things that mattered? None of those choices seemed important, but together they define the direction. In health, this is the same, and I see this every day. You skip the gym once because you're tired, nothing happens. It happens even to me. You eat out one night, nothing happens. You go to bed late because just one more episode, nothing happens. You take the elevator, the lift instead of the stairs, nothing happens. You smoke one cigarette, nothing happens. Health doesn't collapse in one day. It slowly gets worse with every cigarette, every short night, every skipped meal or bad food choice. None of these decisions kills you immediately. But together they build a body and especially a situation that you would have never chosen. In finances this is the same. You buy that $4 coffee every morning, it's okay, nothing happens. You make an impulse purchasing on Amazon at 2 AM, nothing happens. You don't check your bank statement this month, it's okay, nothing happens. You postpone investing because I need to understand it better first, nothing happens. And 10 years later, you wonder where the money went. There was never one crazy expense, just a slow bleed of small decisions that seemed harmless. In time and attention, this is the same. You check Instagram just for 1 second, nothing happens. Except that is not 1 second. You watch that YouTube video before starting work, nothing happens. You reply to that notification immediately, nothing happens. You say yes to that commitment that you don't even care about, nothing happens. And by the end of the week, you don't understand where the time went. You didn't waste it in one giant black hole. You dissipated it through 1,000 small escapes, 1,000 small distractions, 1,000 small yeses to the wrong things. But there is even the other side. It works in fact even the other way around. This is the part people always forget, the classic lucky break, it happens, it was lucky, etc. No one wakes up fit, fulfilled, with solid relationships and organized finances. No one makes one right choice and then everything becomes easy. People who are lucky, tendentially, get results not because huge heroic gestures. They make small, repeated choices every day when nobody is watching, when they don't feel like it, when doing the opposite will be easier. They choose to put the phone down when their partner is talking. They choose to do their task before checking the emails. They choose the stairs instead of the elevator. They choose to cook instead of ordering food. They choose to save 50 euros, $50 instead of spending them. They choose to go to sleep instead of watching another episode. They choose to say no to things that don't move them closer to where they want to go. None of these choices changes anything on its own, but together, over time, they build a different person, a different life. The tyranny of small decisions can destroy you, but it can also build you. It depends on which small decision you make today. This is an example that was impressed in my mind. So, this one I found through Will Smith. Think about your decision like bricks. Every day you're building something, whether you want it or not. Every choice is another brick you add. The problem is that you don't see the house while you're building it. You only see today's brick, that's it. And that brick seems insignificant. What difference could one brick possibly make? But one day you wake up and realize you built an house, a full house. It's there, all around you. Your relationship, your body, your bank account, your work, your time, everything is the result of the bricks that you placed. The question is it the house you wanted to live in? Or did you build something else without realizing it? How I apply it myself. I stopped trusting myself in the moment of the decision. I know that if I'm tired, angry, stressed or bored, my small decisions get worse. It's normal. So the brick I place will be made in the wrong way. So I try to remove myself from decision making moment as much as possible, of course. I try to make the choice before and when I'm clear-headed, and then of course make the execution as automatic as possible. For relationships, I have hours where the phone simply doesn't exist. I don't need to choose to be present. I already decided earlier. For work, I do the most important thing first thing in the morning. I don't need to decide whether to do it or not. I already decided the night before. For health, I prepare meals in advance. I keep my gym clothes ready. I don't need to decide what to eat when I'm hungry or whether to go to the gym when I'm tired, because I wouldn't do if I'm tired. It's normal. I already decided. For finances, money for saving, of course, needs to be moved automatically. I don't need to decide whether to save something, because otherwise I will spend them. So I already decided. For time, notifications are off. The apps that waste my time are hidden or deleted. I don't need to decide whether to check them or not. I already decided. It's not discipline. It's design, life design. I build an environment where the right small decisions become easier than the wrong ones, and the wrong small decision becomes harder or even impossible. because I know that in the moment my willpower is not reliable at all. Nobody's willpower is, because you know, it will be exhausted at the end of the day. But environment design is manageable, so you can do that. So the tyranny of small decision is always working in one direction or the other. You can't stop it. You can only choose which direction you want it to work in. Every day you are placing bricks. The question is not whether you are building something. You already are, whether you want it or not. The question is, are you building the life that you want? What you can do today? So pick one area: relationships, work, health, finances, time, and identify one, just one, recurring small decision that is pushing you in the wrong direction. Design your environment to make that decision, the single decision, as hard as possible. Replace it with one small decision instead that moves you in the right direction, and make it as easy as possible. Obviously, every situation is different. These are general reflections meant as a starting point, no precise instruction for your life. Applying generic concept without considering your specific context, of course, can lead you in the wrong direction. You need to understand your situation can be different to others. If you want to build a system that truly works for you, well, you'll find the link in bio. I'll see you in the next video.